We're good to go. We're here together. Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for showing up to do this together, or if you're listening to the recording, still wonderful to have this sense of our little community still gathering. So let's just go ahead right away. Hopefully you've gathered your things, took a moment, maybe even anointed your crown chakra like we talked about last week. I recommend today, if you didn't but you have oils handy, rose. We are in the world of cooling and expanding the heart this morning. Cooling, most of us are here. It's warm. It's going to be cooling off, I believe, in a couple of days. But there's a lot of heat, and I have no idea what you guys think about, but it's probably somewhat similar to me in terms of just really being present to all that's going on within our society. A lot with the heart. So we're going to be just, if there's any resignation or contraction there, this morning's, particularly the Kriya that we're going to do is particularly focused on just opening that all up again. Super simple, super, to the large extent, super easy in terms of the amount of challenge or physical pain or anything. Not really there. So I recommend those of us that have been practicing a while, just go for it. And anyone who's a little bit newer, just go for it too. It's not going to be that challenging. Just go full out. There's places where there's pauses. It's going to work out perfectly. So the rose actually in the world of Ayurvedic has an effect on some of the subdoshas of the heart. So not that I'm an Ayurvedic expert, but that's why rose, if you have it or want to get it this week. So just as usual, taking your seat, presencing to the sense of space around you, feeling the sits bones, those bony bits pretty much around the butt. Gently arranging shoulders over hips, and just allowing the sense of gravity, just coming inside, letting the eyes close down, starting to get a sense of an internal sense of physical movement in time and space. Bringing the crown of the head over the base of the spine, and then consciously letting the belly drop out a little bit more, letting that diaphragm drop. Otherwise, just gently noticing your experience, noticing your breath, and starting to play with it a little bit in terms of maybe letting that lower belly come out a little bit, maybe even placing a hand, thumb around navel level, palm of the hands and fingers over what we call the navel. We talk about the navel chakra, the Manipura, literally physically moving that area out on the inhale, drawing back the navel point towards the front of the spine on the exhales. And then I say playing with it, just noticing where the movement of the breath is in the body, and then perhaps exaggerating it or drawing it more into the back body. Feeling for that space behind the heart, behind the physical heart, that space there, drawing the breath in there, starting to bring more expansion and ease around our physical heart. We're going to be stimulating, as usual, our nervous system, our glandular system, kind of reset to just to be able to really be present and feel the joy of our heart and the joy of life within it all, feeling it all. So without trying to focus on anything apart from how you actually really feel at the moment, please just bring the hands together in prayer pose. Length of the thumbs all along the sternum, knuckle of the thumbs finding the notch in the sternum, just continuing the breath, starting to draw the breath all the way from low down all the way up to this place where the thumbs are pressing in. Let's play with the breath a little bit more, starting to bring the breath all the way up so that we're actually using these little muscles which attach to the bottom of the clavicle here. As I've said before, that literally their only use is when we top up the lungs to the very top. So let's use them. Use it or lose it. And then at the top of your next big breath, just pause for a moment with the chest lifted, crown of the head reaching straight up, finding that point of balance, and then on your exhale, just releasing the breath, dropping into a stillness. And then just allow the breath to come into a nice equal balance. So perhaps counting maybe with the mantra Sata Nama, Sata Nama, or literally 1, 2, 3, 4, or how many your count is. Just having it equal on the inhale and the exhale, just allowing our systems to start to experience feeling a balance, an equal. Gently pressing the palms together, finding that meeting point left to right so that the elbows gently come up, the forearms are parallel to the ground. Now let's just take a couple of breaths together. So pausing on your exhale, gently drawing back the navel point towards the front of the spine, pausing, and then all together just allowing a nice smooth big breath in. Gently squeezing the shoulder blades together on the back, opening up the front here, especially around the chest. And releasing the breath all the way out. Again, pulling back the navel point. Let's take another big breath together. Again, just gently, chest lifted, a little forward and lifted, chin very slightly tucked. And then again, releasing the breath, top of the lungs, through the midsection, noticing how the chest narrows. Let's just take a nice big breath in to tune in with our mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, bowing to the intelligence within all. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Couple more times. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Releasing the hands down, just down to the knees, wherever they're comfortable, on the thighs or whatever. Perhaps flipping the palms face up, pressing the back of the hands into the thighs a little bit. And then pushing up a little bit with the knees into the back of the hands, just noticing how that allows the musculature around the sacrum, lower back area, just to very gently start to open up a little bit. And please, once again, the eyes gently closed, becoming aware of a sense of spaciousness within and without. Now, I'm in a lovely, beautiful, spacious studio here. Hopefully you have carved out yourself a little space at home. But I recommend actually taking a remembrance of a place in nature where you have had in your sometime in your past a sense of space, maybe out at the ocean, climbing a mountaintop. Just allow one time. It doesn't have to be the greatest. Just allow the one that comes to you right now and recreate. Use the power of the mind. It's like a time travel machine. Power of the mind. Take you to another time, another place, and allow your nervous system to expand into the sense of spaciousness, and just let your mind know that you have carved out this time. You've got a good hour. It's plenty. It's all you need on your mat. You have time. You have space. Just breathing into that again, perhaps finding a sensation around the pelvic floor. Give it a little pull. Find a place on the pelvic floor, just like a place, and send the breath down there, feeling the sense of space on the inside. Expanding into it. And then keeping that sense of space, we're going to very simply bring our arms out to the side a little bit. We've done this exercise, I think at least for a week or two. And then stretch the arms down, inhale them forward, stretching all the way up on the inhale, exhaling all the way back and around, just taking a nice stretch. If you've already been out hiking or exercising, or really fortunate you did the yoga fundamentals this morning, you can just really get it up. But if this is the first real exercise of the day, first time the arms have come up over the head, just feel into the joints. Feel how this bone here sits in the joint. Feel the musculature wrapping around. Open it up. Gently allowing it to be just a really enjoyable experience. You know, those first big stretches into the day when you're waking up, you know it's going to be a good one. You've got day and space ahead. And then really just let the arms go. Let them move. Continuing on, just letting the arms move, inhaling up and forward, exhaling around to the back and down, inhaling up and back. This is a one exercise career, so it's something we can do during the week. It allows us to throw off stress. You'll notice as we go along today how it really actually also works into this whole energetic center, what we call our heart chakra, the anahata chakra, the unstruck sound of here. We're going to be opening this whole space up. So if you've had any stress, go for this last few seconds here. Beautiful. And bringing both arms all the way up above the head, stretching into it, holding the breath. Just suspend the breath in, gently pull back the navel point, give it a little bit of a lift up, so that's the diaphragm lifting up. And just relaxing the arms all the way back down again, and just gently dropping into a sense of space. Just noticing any areas where the breath is now starting to move a little bit more. Whole breath is probably moving just a little bit more intensely, expanding the capacity there, and then consciously send the breath where you notice it's not moving. Again, maybe into the back body. And then we're just going to move the spine a little bit, start to move the stimulate the nervous system a little bit, the ciliary nerves. So we just spread the fingers wide, coming into tabletop. Thumbs are towards each other, index fingers facing forward to get the alignment in your wrists, of course. Not putting much weight on, but we will in a moment. So you want to make sure that your hands are really aligned the best that they can, and then put that pressure down through, bringing the shoulders directly over the wrists, and whether mine are or not, that's my intention. Same thing, pushing down through the knees and just gently squeezing, isometrically pulling the upper legs towards each other, the arms towards each other, and feel that little bit of stimulus there at the navel point. And just inhale, letting the belly drop down, letting this spine arch. And exhale, pulling up the sides of the body, letting the head just drop down, using the weight of the skull, stretch into the muscles around the back of the neck and the front, getting a little bit of pressure on the thyroid, parathyroid, as we start to stimulate the glandular system as well as the nervous system, allowing it to come into working at its greatest capacity. Again, exploring the sense of breath within and the bony structure of the spine at the same time. Split attention, trying to keep that weight really pushing down through the knees and the palms, and pulling together, strengthening the inner muscles of the body, and keeping the navel chakra, third chakra, online a little. You can go as fast as you like. Just keep the breath nice and light and full. So just allowing the breath come in, not forceful, just letting it flow. And then on your next exhale, just gently squeezing the root lock and letting the Uddiyana Bandha come up as we just bring the hips back to the heels, inhaling, just flowing all the way forward like water into the cow, the sway back cow on the inhale. Exhale again, returning gently, pulling back the hips towards the heels. Doesn't matter if they go all the way back, just keep to your breath rhythm. You can slow it down a little bit, as basically what we're doing here is just, as I said before, is just pulling the energy into the spine here. So we gently squeeze the root lock, Mula Bandha. Obviously, this is something you don't do if you're in the early heavy flow days of menstrual cycles or pregnancy, something like that. You want to keep the flow going down, but generally here we just give a little bit of a stop of the flow going down with the Mula Bandha, starting to build the energy in the spine. By the time you're about 2/3 of the way forward, the locks have released. Each exhale, gently tucking the chin, pulling back the navel point, letting the diaphragm fly up. As we've been practicing over the last months, we've really gotten more of a sense, a felt sense, a real wisdom around what the diaphragm is doing. We will be doing a little bit of work to release any tension that's been building there. And then just next time the hips are back to the heels, please just relax here. Bringing the forehead, if you're able to. You got face furniture like I do, you might want to take it off. Resting the third eye, the root, on the ground if you're able to. You want to be comfortable. And then once again, just spreading the fingers wide, pressing down through all 5 fingers, well, 8 fingers, I guess, and both thumbs is really what I mean. Pressing down the knuckles and the mounds of the hands. They're right at the base of the fingers, each fingers and thumb. And then just rolling the toes under and pushing the hips up on a exhale, just letting the head drop down. It's a short length for a downward dog or Adho Mukha Savasana. You can
Of course, find your blueprint by bringing your feet back a little bit, coming into a plank. But we're not going to stay here very long, so you can stay in a short down dog. We just want to stretch the back of the legs a little bit. So just gently bending one knee and getting a nice stretch through the opposite hamstring. Switching sides, just bending the other knee, just letting it soften, getting a nice stretch through the other side. Just to let them open up a little bit. And then just looking between the hands, stepping the right foot forward, the left foot forward. Let's just go ahead and just release the torso down. All 10 fingertips, I'm going to call them, pressing into the ground just a couple of inches in front of your toes. Please check as you look down that your second toe is the most forward-facing one so that the feet are not out or in. You want them straight, and straight being the second toe aligning with the dip at the front of the ankle. This allows the tendons around the knees to have the least amount of strain. So with the fingers on the ground, however many is comfortable, just again pushing down through the fingertips, isometrically pulling them back towards the toes, allowing the spine to come up on the inhale, and pushing the fingers away from the body on the exhale. So pushing down through the fingertips, inhaling up, exhaling down. It's nice and slow this. Here you're just really feeling inside, feeling the real physical structure of the body here, not just the bone, but also the musculature. But this is not an energetic movement so much as really just stretching, opening the lower back. And then inhaling, sweeping the arms all the way up above the head. Exhaling to the heart center, prayer pose. And then on your next inhale, sweeping them up all the way down. Fingertips press down, pull back to the toes. Inhale, the spine long. Exhale, pushing the fingers away from you. If you're lucky, you've got a sticky mat. Just press into the stick of the mat and use that. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And then again, inhaling the arm all the way up above the crown of the head. Tall. Hands down to prayer pose. And please just pause for a moment. Spread the toes wide, feeling the body balanced by pressing down through the big toe, each of the great toes, and the outer heels. Keeping that slight isometric pull between the legs, coming towards each other, and feel how that affects the musculature and the energy around the navel point. Again, reconnecting with that sense of spaciousness, an abundance of time. And please remember a time in your life when you had an interaction with someone where your heart just opened. Not necessarily the most joyous or necessarily something awfully sad, but something or other that just, it really touched your heart. Once again, using the power of the mind, your time travel machine, to take yourself there.
recreating the experience, feeling the heart open. It's a softening. It's breathing into it. Same time, keeping the isometric pull, feet towards feet. You'll notice how you get this slight, without tucking the tail down, that it slightly realigns the pelvis and allows more spaciousness around your sacrum and the hips. Finding your shoulders over the hips. Can release the mind's attention on recreating that experience, but keep the attention on the sensation around your physical heart, the emotion, the attitude that's present, and starting to flutter the diaphragm a little bit. So basically just like a very light breath of fire. On each exhale, through the nose, keeping the mouth closed the whole time during class, as best as we can during life, unless we're singing or chanting or speaking, or we purposely are breathing through the mouth. So the movement as we breathe out through the nose is pulling the navel point back. Remembering, as we now come into a breath of fire, that the easiest way to remember the sensation is to just drop the tongue and pant like a puppy. Feeling the movement around the diaphragm here, and then just gently closing the mouth again once you've got it. Continuing on a little bit more, keeping that gentle pressure, left hand to right hand, so that the elbows come up and there's a cross, right across, with your arms parallel right across the midline here. Feeling the spine nice and straight from the crown of the head, the sides of the neck are just very slightly pulled back. If you're feeling overheated, if you feel that there's pressure rising inside, we want to stimulate our system. We're going to, as usual, we stimulate our system with a little pranayama, often breath of fire, and then we redistribute this energy through the different nadis and the meridians, the pathways through the body. So we want to stimulate the system a little bit, but if you're feeling a little overheated, just keep it nice and easy. Last few seconds. And then please take a nice, smooth, big breath all the way in. And releasing the breath, letting the hands come into fists separately. Thumbs are out, fingers come into fists, and the elbows come back. So you've got the shoulder blades again squeezing together on the back. So it's not just the elbows come back, but you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel a nice stretch across the front of the chest so that the fists are right by the side of the rib cage. Feeling that stretch, we're going to very simply start alternating punches, right and left. Now you want to let this come as vigorously as you can. Now feel for what it's doing. I know when I punch, I tend to twist into it. I don't think it's like an old karate thing or something or other, but we don't want to do that. You want to just keep the wrist straight and just punch straight forward. Now again, if you go for this really vigorously, you start to bring the breath into something like a breath of fire. It's not the intention, so just continuing on. Stabilizing once again through the big toes, the great toes, all the way across to the little toes. Back to the inner heels and the outer heels, so pressing down through all four corners of both feet, keeping nice and stable. Just a micro bend in the knees, keeping them just a little tiny bit soft, but lifting the thighs, so you lift the knees, lifting the thighs, and keeping the isometric action, feet towards feet, so that the inner thighs are lifted. Continuing on a little bit more. We pretty much always move. We intend to speak on an exhale, move on an exhale. So we punch on the exhale. Taking advantage of being aware of any frustrations and just punching them out. Eyes open, focus on the horizon. It's not a staring at the horizon, it's a soft gaze. As far out as possible, if you can just change your angle and see out of a window, even more powerful for the nervous system, reflected through the eyes. For so long in our development, we spent time in a lot more space, and most of our time we were a relatively large percentage of our time we were gazing out to a horizon, aware of what would be coming from far away. Recreating that experience, soft gaze, far off. Last few seconds. And please inhale, both arms up above the head. And then exhaling them back behind the body. We repeat the same movement as we did before. This can be done standing up or sitting down, however you like. I'm just going to stay standing. Inhaling the arms down and, forward and up. Exhaling back and down. Now the arms should be nicely warmed up by now. It's shoulder joint particularly. So using the muscular power to really move and just connecting the rhythm for yourself, inhaling and exhaling along with the movement. Coordinating. Gently bringing the focus, the drishti, the eye focus to the third eye. Gently stimulating the pineal gland. And imagine seeing out to the distance. So we're literally projecting the sense of sight out through the third eye, again to that distant horizon. Again, let it be soft, not tense. It can be a little uncomfortable as we learn to practice rolling our eyes up to the root of the nose like this. So just push it a little bit, but not too much. Keep it enjoyable. Again, last few seconds. Allow the movement of the arms to really open up the front and the sides of the chest with the breath moving. And release, let the arms just hang. Take a moment, once again, firm foundation. All four corners of both feet grounded. Pushing down for them, feeling that little bit of space under the sole. There's a very powerful mama point where we draw energy in from the planet itself. Just using the power of the mind, the intention to just open up and receive more energy. Again, Lightly just opening up the chest. Reconnecting with that sense of movement in the movement of breath within the torso, noticing where it's starting to move where it wasn't before, noticing where it's still not moving, comparing left to right, the lobes of the lungs. We have very little. It takes quite a bit of practice to feel our internal organs. We're not really supposed to apparently really feel them, but we can. So you don't necessarily feel each lobe, but just notice the movement inside on the left and the right. Breathing in nice and powerfully through both nostrils. Opened up is almost like this powerful pranayama as we open up the prana coming into the section. The home of prana is here, in this particular energetics section around the lungs and the heart. This is the home. Just gently placing the hands one on top of each other at the heart center, and intend to send the breath into the area under your hands. Keeping a little bit of pressure on your torso. Please just come into a comfortable seated position. What we call easy pose. Legs crossed. You could be seated in a chair, whatever's comfortable. And just weave the fingers together, except for the thumbs. The thumbs just touch in a sort of triangle thing. And then bringing the hands down to the navel point. So the palms are flipped down, and the thumbs are pointing towards the navel point. Going to inhale the hands up to the level of your throat. So you might want to have your eyes open or just touch with the thumbs these areas of the body. And then just letting the eyes close down, feel the movement between the two. Feel that you know exactly when your thumbs are in front of the navel point or the throat chakra, and then begin to move more rapidly. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Just continuing on. I want to make sure that we do this enough. Setting the timer. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Feeling the breath come in through both nostrils. Powerfully draw the breath. Feeling the breath, the air movement around the sensitive nerve endings of the nostrils. Drawing it straight up each side to meet at the root of the nose. Powerfully stimulating the Ida Pingala, and then we'll start to access the effects of when you stimulate the Sushumna, that it just sort of drop into the oneness. But right now it's just an exercise. You just want to purposely breathe through both nostrils, both right up to the root of the nose. Yeah, I'm still breathing a little bit more through my left, so just balance it out. Check for yourself which you feel you've got more breath. Try to balance it out. This is it. I mean, this is the last real physical exercise. So use the strength of the arms, keep the tops of the shoulders nice and soft, and use the strength of the triceps and biceps to move through the space of the fourth chakra by starting at the third, moving to the fifth. Sorry, we're moving to the fifth. Up and down, moving through the space. Feel how this moves the breath, and obviously the prana, the energy that rides on the breath through this whole area, and also stimulating the meridians within the arms. Last bit, please just stay steady. Inhaling to heart center height, so that's right the height between the nipples. Suspending the breath, giving a little bit of a squeeze of the root lock, crown of the head over the base of the spine. We're just going to hold it just a little bit more. Feel the pressure rise. Notice how you can contain it. And then releasing the breath, releasing the hands, taking a moment once again, keeping the breath full and open, just letting it move naturally however it wants to. Just intend to keep it expanded rather than going back to, we tend to automatically bring our breaths down to the depth of a normal. Keep that breath flowing, but just let it just come into its own comfortable rhythm. Keeping that sense of spaciousness and time, doing the visualization. If you've lost it, again, softening the heart, remembering that person, that moment. Really breathing in your own experience, your own joy, your own sadness, the grief, whatever is there and present for you. Living at this time and this place, just breathe in, and on your exhale, breathe out light and brightness. So pick a color, any color. Choose red. So visualizing breathing in this deep, dark, heavy red, exhaling out this perhaps a pink, light pink color, so that it becomes more and more breathing in darkness, breathing out light. Alchemist. Using your own breath to change the density and the darkness to the bright light. Please bring your visualization in your mind to be of someone that you just love, like a favorite person. For some of us, maybe that would be easier with a creature, a being other than self, ourselves, and send them love. Breathe in their sadness, breathe in their heavy heart, their heavy energy. Breathe out, you're transmuting it. Don't be afraid, breathe it in. And the exhales, you're transmuting it, breathing back out this soft, open acceptance, full acceptance and compassion. Just bending the arms so that the elbows drop down by the side of the torso, the hands come up by the side of the shoulders, almost like a pledge. And we're going to once again come into sama. We're going to bring the breath on the inhale and exhale evenly. This time I request that we use the mantra Satanama. We're just going to gently press each fingertip in turn with the thumb on each sound. So it's sa, ta, na, ma. We start on each sa, ta, na, ma. Index finger to begin. Ma would be the little finger. So it's going to be a full mantra for each inhale, and the same thing for each exhale. Bringing the breath back into balance. Samavritti, same measurement. Making the sound, the movement, doesn't need to be loud, but you want to have this, the tongue stimulating the soft palate, stimulating the brain on the other side of the palate, and also getting a decent amount of pressure between the tips of the fingers and the thumb also sends signals to the brain. Sa, ta, na, ma on the inhale, sa, ta, na, ma on the exhale. Please let yourself be. No need to try and bring yourself to your happy place. Just be open now, not only to your own experience, but another's. Breathing in their experience, sending out your full-hearted love. Continuing, breathing through both nostrils as balanced as you can, as well as equal inhale and exhale. Starting to notice the pauses at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath. Simply keeping up the mantra on the inhale and exhale, but being aware of those pauses. Continuing just a little bit more, just one more minute. Letting the elbows be nice and heavy. Just let gravity pull them down. Again, gently slide the shoulder blades together a little bit on the back to keep the hands as much as possible level with your shoulders. Tops of the shoulders nice and soft. Like someone's coming behind you, gently laying their hands on your shoulders. A little warmth, softness, a little weight. Just letting the muscles of your shoulders relaxing like you're being massaged. Please bring the dristi, the eye focus, down to the tip of the nose. Starts to stimulate the frontal brain. And now please just stay relaxed, aware of your breath, but release the hands just back down into the lap, placing one upon the other comfortably. Keeping the dristi to the tip of the nose, the eye focus to the tip of the nose, sides of the neck nice. Be pulled back, back of the neck nice and long. Just gently following, enjoying, being a little curious about the inhale, pause at the top, where it's moving, the exhales, movement in the respiratory diaphragm. Just noticing. Perhaps even without projecting with your mind that color, maybe that's something that you already experienced, noticing a movement, a sense of movement or color. Words may come. Keep yourself present. We're not just floating off quite yet. If you feel yourself floating off, bring your awareness right as though you're like just a little seated person sitting at the tip of your nose, watching the breath. Each inhale and exhale with a soft attention. Allowing the muscles of the face to feel like you're just about to smile. Just about. Widening the root of the tongue, back of the throat. Very simply, breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Exploring the motion of the physical body with the breath. Letting the breath become very light. Letting the movement become absolutely natural. Just gently watching. Creating for yourself the experience of having a body. Feel it. Where the body touches the ground or chair, whatever you're on. Cloth of your clothing on the skin. The air circulates, especially around the hands and the feet where there's so many nerve endings. And of course the face. Now please just release the focus, the breath, just come all the way down onto your back for Savasana, comfortably for position, just come into a deep relaxation. So give yourself a minute or two. Gather anything that you might need. Check in with how you are right now. There may be things that are usual that you need that you might not right now. Remember, a cover, especially across the torso, can be very relaxing. Remember, we're going to play the gong a little bit. If you like it louder, please draw your speaker to you, but if it's too much, please push it away a little bit. Rock the hips a little bit, gently loosening the muscles, the big muscles around the hips and the thighs and the lower back, arranging the legs with a little bit of space between them. Not too much, not too little. about hip width apart. Again, a little bit of space between your torso and your arms, is just enough that's comfortable again so that energies flow all the way around. If it's comfortable, please flip the palms so that they're face up. And allow some nice deep breaths in and out. Thankful to yourself for the work that you have done, that has started to balance your nervous system, the muscular system, arranging your skeletal system so it's comfortable, perhaps gently releasing the muscles of the neck. Softening the eyes, feeling how relaxed the eyelids are. Breathing into that sensation. Exhaling, noticing how that softness is moving into all the little intrinsic muscles around the eyes. Eyes gently pull back towards the center of the skull, just a tiny, tiny amount. Front brain presses gently into the back brain. Gently pulling the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And focusing somewhere where the breath moves in the body. Remembering your breath. Noticing how relaxed you are, how you're supported on the earth. Presencing yourself to the beauty of this earth. We kept the energy nice and low and balanced in the gong, so you may not feel like leaping up. It's going to be very gentle. We want to keep our nervous systems nice and soft and relaxed this morning, whatever it is for you. But this week, I really want you to have a little pause to be able to integrate and relate to everything. So take the time to just not try to relate to anything apart from yourself. Gently wiggling fingers and toes. Don't really need to stimulate the nervous system very much right now. I'm going to stay relaxed, but if you'd like to rub the soles of your feet together or hands, now is a good time. But do bring yourself into a little cat stretch, so as you can just get yourself comfortable to be seated for just a few moments. A couple of minutes or so. And then hug the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around. Please give yourself a big hug. Squeeze. If you're someone who's been fortunate, as I have, to still be isolating, feel the physical sensation of that hug. Send it to someone that you love. And feel them hugging on you, loving on you. Get a little bit of rock side to side, massaging that lower back, and then please just roll up along the spine, lengthways, just to your back to a comfortable seated position. If it's comfortable, if your knees don't come too high up, probably be more comfortable with your hips down on the ground or just a small cushion. This one's going to be easier on the ground than on a chair, but we'll work it out. We're going to very simply take our right hand and press it, the base, I can't remember what it's called, the base here of the hand, where the thumb comes down. That's going to be underneath the cheekbone on the right hand side. So very simply, you're just going to stretch the spine nice and long, and then we're going to arch. It's going to be pressurizing all the organs on the right hand side of the body, so it gets a nice length through the spine, and then we basically really are just slumping. Bring the hand so that you can release the weight of the skull. Once again, just let the skull feel how heavy your big old brain is, the bone of the skull, feeling the weight. The fingers are just long and supporting the head. Now just arrange your body as comfortably as you're able to. The eyes are closed down. There's some pressure here on the right hand side. The organs here, you've got obviously you've got the both sides, but of course the liver, gallbladder here on the right. Just applying a little bit of pressure here. Releases. It's like a little massage there. It's considered that different organs of the body, of course, have different emotions that are particularly associated. So, of course, we've been focused on the energetics of the heart, also on the organ, the physical organ of the heart. Now, just a little bit of pressure on the liver to just let it relax and soften. Just tell your breath to slow down. Slow down. Feeling nice and easy. Again, you can arrange your mouth closed, but as though
You were just about to smile, softening the brow. The eyes behind the eyelids are soft. Soft gaze, not trying to see anything. Just gently noticing the breath moving in and out. Breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. Aware of the pause. Breathing out. I know I'm breathing out. This particular exercise is particularly effective if you come into what we call a 1 minute breath. Exactly what it sounds like. Each breath from inhale through to the end of the exhale takes about a minute. If you strain for that, not relaxing. So just taking it nice and easy, not straining, just simply telling your breath, slow down, be easy. Notice the movement of the breath at your navel point, gently being aware more and more of the diaphragm. And then on an inhale, just bringing yourself straight back up, pressing the elbow into the leg, releasing, finding the shoulders over the hips, crown of the head over the base of the torso, hands back in prayer pose. And we're going to complete as usual with a long Satnam. So once again, softening your heart, blessing yourself. Please just take a moment to become aware of your blessings, your limbs, your heart, your discipline, a roof over your head, so many to love and be loved by. Blessing yourself. And then from that overflow experience, filled up, overflowed, sending out the vibration of your heart right now into our community. Please take a deep breath in. Bless you. Thank you so much for keep showing up. Be well. Once again, just want to say any feedback would be really, really useful. I really appreciate getting all your love and look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.